Hello and welcome back to my informative playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker. This is episode 5. Now, the previous episode, basically all we did was we travelled from Nettle's Crossing to Thorn Ford, and I did Thorn Ford resolution in a non-combat manner, and we picked up our first artifact fragment. And the reason I paused the game there is that now that we visited Thorn Ford, we can actually trigger an infamous ambush, what's called the Technic League ambush. And this, I joked in the prologue about how the first 3 assassins you fight in the library is the second hardest fight in the game. Now the Technic League ambush is the hardest fight in the game, and it's actually set up in such a way that there's ways to resolve it. There's 2 ways to resolve it without having to win. 1, you can just give up. And 2, if somebody is knocked unconscious, if someone goes down in that fight, you get a second option to give up. So it's set up. It acknowledges that it's very difficult. However, you can beat it, and beating it comes with certain advantages. And what I'd really like to do is get to Ancient Tomb without triggering that ambush, because at our level, with these skills I've taken and the sort of stuff we've got, it's something of a crapshoot as to whether we can complete it. But we will see. It normally happens right about here. Ooh. And we have passed it. Excellent. I don't know what the odds are of triggering it, but I ran through this event, because I played through Chapter 1 a week or so ago in preparation for this, and I think that triggered, 2 out of 4 times I ran past there. So yeah, potentially, a lethal encounter. Really dangerous. And we have to do it anyway, but if we do it at level 3, we've got a much better chance of being able to do it in one go. Rather than struggling. I played through it. 1 time I triggered it. I did it 4 times, and 3 of them I died, including 1 where it came down to the last two characters. Poor old Valerie was crit by the last remaining enemy, and it's just like all that effort for nothing. But this is the Ancient Tomb, and you can see up here we've got Tartuccio's mercenary. So we're chasing down Tartuccio, and you can see these are level 3 fighters. This is not an easy enemy here. 32 hit points. We're going to have an archer and a mage. So there's a lot of risk involved in this actually. So first we're going to loot this, and apparently cats can empty boxes. And we're going to take that Shield of Faith there, and we're immediately going to give that to Amiri here. There, because her armor class is pretty poor. We've already got one here for Valerie, and of course she's wearing her Ring of Protection +1. So this will give +2 deflection, which doesn't stack. So that's it is what it is. But we're also going to get Valerie to drink a potion of buckskin, and the reason for this is that these consumables they're not. Now that we've avoided the other ambush, we can safely use them in my opinion, and that's we'll save that, but we'll drink the buckskin. Buckskin is an excellent spell. And it's 10 minutes per level. It gives an enhancement bonus to natural armor bonus. So that means it will stack with regular armor. Now, one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to set Melly's spellbook here. We had intended to take Acid Maw and Magic Fang, but we'll just have to do without. So, first of all,
friendship lasts forever.
We're going to enlarge Amiri. Unfortunately, we can't enlarge our leopard without the correct spell, or reduce, which might be more effective. Going to sneak forward. Not that we're very good at sneaking. Let's turn off that. So we're actually going to leave stealth.
Is there trouble?
And what we're going to do
I am yours to command.
is we're going
Anything is
to
possible.
activate Bard's Song. There.
The world is full
And we're
of
just going to
wonder.
try and kill this first one.
I'm listening.
Let's drink that. Drink that.
Give the order. Don't hesitate.
And off we go. Let's see how this works out. This is our lethal stance, which we took at level up. And we're going to get the cat to go in as well. Not that cat. The the leopard. And then
Adventures are exciting.
we're going to get everyone else to attempt to daze, except for Alice here, who's going to save her action, because we're going to try and daze some of the other enemies.
Can you make an epic pose?
There we go.
I need inspiration.
So this one here, that's who we're going for.
Stand down.
So they say, here's our target. So Tartuccio has obviously left them here to kill us. This is the mage here, casting Enlarged Person. So, yes. Nice hit. Amiri can rage because hopefully Valerie will take the brunt of...
You offend me.
Gonna try and daze. And actually... Yeah, well they might as well go. Unfortunately... Yeah, charge. Loss. The cat can go down, always. So daze, then that's key. Taking out that archer, because a critical hit from a longbow is ×3, and that will just, you know, you're not going to have a very nice time. Hopefully.
This will hurt.
Lot of misses. Why are you firing instead of dazing? So
Your
we've cocked
time
up there.
is over.
That's okay. You can see this one's changed target, so really we want to be focused
Serves you right.
there. Anyway. You see he's got rapid shot, so
Let us strike as one.
You deserved
there we
it.
go.
Away, you rascal.
Oh, critical hit on Amiri. And he's going to just continue to fire acid until we can maybe take this one down. He's large, which works in our favour, because if we can keep him dazed... There's reduced AC. We're going to go for this one here. And everyone else...
Any last
Actually,
wishes?
1
Stand
daze,
down.
2
This
daze,
is where I step in.
and 3. This one's got... It's going to have a higher will save. I think, yeah, will +4. And here we are looking at will +1. So, because this is a wizard, mage type characters have higher will saves, but we might be able to daze there. But they also have much lower health pools, and that's it basically one, because with 3 dazers, there's a very low chance they're going to make all their saves. And there we go. Bard Song off. So the main casualties were, of course, the leopard, and Amiri ate a pretty big critical hit.
Here I am.
But that's
See.
the risks in these combats. Like you're never going to be able to at early level, luck comes into it a lot. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's not
No time for
It's
idling.
time to act.
unmanageable.
I wrote it like I saw it.
Yes.
We'll just heal up.
Yes.
Let's just... How's our little cat?
And Lindsay was called forth.
What you want?
low rolls on our health potions. But that's fine. Okay, so we're now in the ancient tomb. And this is a Cyclops tomb, and we can actually see evidence of that if we examine some of this stuff. So then this grinning jackal skull being recently scratched on top, that might be a reference to Lamash, to the goddess of crawling things. But outline of a head with a single eye. So, ancient Cyclops. If you remember that first book I looked at, that referred to the ancient Cyclops Empire, and Cyclopses are going to be something of a theme going forth. Yeah, so, and skull with a single eye socket. And you'll notice that this tomb has been busted open. So we get a scroll of cure light wounds. And, oh, I'll turn off that. So we're going to take everything they've got apart from their armor for selling. And in fact, we have our second necklace fragment. So this is our second scorched fragment of a necklace. So that's now 2 out of 7. Definitely taking that. Take the long swords. And this is a longsword +1. So that is a significant upgrade here for Amiri. So we're going to swap that. You'll notice swapping from the Masterwork Scythe to the longsword +1 doesn't change our attack bonus, but does change our attack roll, our damage roll. And I guess 2d4 +4 or 1d8 +5, kind of, but I prefer to have the higher plus, because that's guaranteed damage. Anyway, and we can sell. Possibly it's the same. How would you say? Work out the same average damage. But we might even give this back to Jaethal when we find her. Take everything there. Yeah, so a 2d4 works out as a more consistent damage, but less damage spikes and less, low damage, I guess, than a 1d8. So this is ancient Cyclops coin. Similarly to the ancient Restavik coin, somebody is going to give us a lot of money for that, rather than the 100 gold it seems to be worth.
Dangers don't frighten me.
There's a trap here.
Your attention.
See if it's a nasty magic missile trap, and Lindsay is prone to failing this
I
catastrophically
failed. I'm sorry.
if you don't pump her trickery
Applause,
with a
please?
nice hat and skill focused trickery.
I'll
And
share my path.
then you get blasted with magic missiles. Rev enfeeblement, not the most exciting scroll. And I'm actually just going to save up here because we've got some difficult or modest checks which we have to pass if we don't want to cock up the next part of the game. So let's see what happens. Because of course Tartuccio's mercenaries here, they'd set this ambush, but where is Tartuccio himself? We're going to take that for Harrim as well. So yeah, it's a storybook event, Lindsay's little book, and it's written in her voice. It's quite nice. Trail of Tartuccio and his companions had grown cold. However, we happen to have somebody with high law nature, so we're going to have a go. And we are going to succeed with a roll of 17. Very nice. And we've now got various other options. We know which way to go. It's the single set of footprints here. But we're going to have a go with this law nature check here as well. And in fact, we're going to succeed and get a little bit of bonus experience. We can study the trail. And it says little shoe prints turned into little clawed footprints. Strange, as if someone from Tartuccio's band was wearing shoes, then either took them off or grew claws. And we can detect magic. Because we are it's one of our class skills of being a sorcerer or a wizard. In fact, is we have a detect magic ability. So do others, but we're going to try that. And we discover these traces of a spell from the illusion school of magic. And if you combine that with, feet changing, maybe there's something going on there. And we are going to follow the single set of footprints down into the gully. This is the only good option here. We don't want to follow all the big footprints. It doesn't go anywhere. And it seems like a tricky path to follow. So we're going to try and pass this. And what I should have done is removed armor, because that would have increased our chance of passing this. Amiri's armor, specifically. But sometimes you get this bit that pops up that gives you a choice. Anyway, let's see what happens. Yeah, phew. I breathe a sigh of relief there, because if we fail that, it's just, if we fail these checks, it's quite frustrating. But Lindsay manages to ace it. There she is, after her mobility. Yeah, so move forward. The air grew tense, and we sensed we were approaching our target in the pine patch. I'll just check out what Amiri's armor penalty is. I think it's because I put a breastplate on her, which yeah, so she's getting -4 from that breastplate. That would have still meant plus 6, like Lindsay's there. I think so. We don't need to prep up for this battle, but we'll just make sure our formation is good. It's not a significant fight. We're just gonna creep forward.
Listen to me. A dragon, huge, sparkling, flew down to me from the sky and told me a secret. A great relic that will win the kobold's glory is hidden somewhere nearby. Enough of this pitiful existence. Search for it. Search and bring it to me.
So, the leader speaks in his especially familiar voice with the name Tartuccio. So, obviously, if we combine what we knew before, he's using some sort of illusion magic to disguise himself as a kobold, of all things. And this is the sort of, the stressing the S is the sparkling and dragons. Yeah, so kobolds notoriously stupid and like dragons. But, rather, I guess, endearing if you're familiar with, like, Deacon from Neverwinter Nights. I think that's Shadows of Undrentide introduced Deacon, who I guess is a bit of a fan favourite, or a irritation. But, yeah, this is Dungeons and Kobolds, yeah, gain 52 experience. And they love dragon. Dragon! Glory! Dragon! We know that. So, reference to the mites and the Old Sycamore. This is our next destination. And the mites have got this magic treasure. And we're going to we're going to take this chaotic choice. Because we find this quite funny.
You! When will I finally be rid of you? Don't listen to her, tribesmen. This liar comes to play tricks on us. You and you, hold her back. The rest of you, follow me.
And that's the end of the dialogue. So he's going to send 2 individuals to fight us. So these 2 kobold sentinels. We've already fought them in that random ambush, but they're fighter level 2. They got very low strength. Modest or insignificant strength, since even though 10 is the average, like, outside of the first couple of enemies you fight in the prologue, you're mostly going to be seeing much higher strengths. They've got rubbish armor class. Basically, and they do 1 to 4 damage with the short sword. They got Bab of 2 because they're level 2 fighters. These aren't going to prove to be any difficulty because they are... One final thing, they've got a will save of 1 and they're susceptible to
This will
being
hurt.
tased.
Serves you right.
We can't
Defend me.
catch Tartuccio here. Tartuccio, we might be able to check him out. No, because he's neutral, we can't do it. So, Kitty, you need to turn off your AI. And Valerie,
Onwards!
engage first.
Tear them apart!
There we go, 1 days. And that should be the other one. And it's all over.
They go down!
One thing I haven't talked about is you'll notice we've got 3 people attacking 1 target. Now, if you have 2 or more individuals attacking a target, you will gain a bonus to hit. And we'll see this with Amiri. If I can... There, she missed, but circumstantial bonus of +2 from flanking. And that's really, powerful because there's feats that can boost that as well. But +2 to hit is really, really powerful. So as long as you're not needing to tie up enemies on both sides of you that are going to come after your squishy characters, it's generally better to focus down 1 individual. But as I think I mentioned, they're dazed, so they can't do anything. What? How are they missing so much? Well, I guess their armor class isn't terrible if you're rolling a 3. Fighting defensively, are we? Okay.
You should have run!
Much more effective at dazing than we are at hitting things. Phew. So this map here, this is Pine Patch. There's some collectibles in each of the 4 corners,
I'll
or
share my
things in each of the 4 corners. So I'm going to grab this one here, Ancient Ruslandic coin. I might well have said Ancient Restovian coin, but I have to remember that they're Ruslandic coins. Down here,
I see something.
this is cool. Cat, get off there. We get a little change, and you see that actually someone has been storing port here. It's very valuable. We're going to take all of that. They don't have anything of interest on them, I don't think, apart from some gold and a silver spoon. Born with a silver spoon in their pocket. So there's some sort of mention of a chest. So they've taken something, and there's this sort of dead dwarf and this dead individual. So maybe the kobolds killed them, maybe they didn't. It's cooking ingredients, excellent, and cooking ingredients and our second recipe, which is haggis. And we will copy that recipe. Once we get a few more recipes, I'll have a little in-depth look at what they provide.
I found
Because
something interesting.
they can be, as I said, the recipes, you can go through the whole game without looking at them at all, or they can be really powerful. Another Ancient Ruslandic coin. And final, I believe, over here, and there might be something up in this corner. More booze. Potentially we failed a check there. But we're going to take these mushrooms to eat later. And we can leave Pine Patch. Ah, there it is. Almost in the fog. There. You can't really see it, but this is more alcohol here. More port. So we've got 20 bottles of vintage port to be sold. And yeah, there we go. We'll leave that stuff. Not worth it, really, for the weight. But as I said, gold is really, really important, and you need to just trade time versus collecting gold, because it can be the more gold you have, the better, in my opinion, in the early game. We are going to come down here to this Old Sycamore. So up here, this is the abandoned hut. This is what the Stag Lord was interested in. The hut that the Guardian of the Bloom mentioned, the hut that is going to lead us to the Temple of the Elk. But we're going to partially chase down Tartuccio here, mostly because we can. If you see, we're halfway to level 3 at the moment, and Melly here is halfway to level 2. So yes, of course. Maybe I mentioned this, but our mercenary, we hired them at level 1, so they start with a XP penalty compared to our main characters. That's the price you pay for cheap mercenaries. So we're going to chase down Tartuccio finally, partially, I should say, and level up a little bit. And we can travel from Pine Patch to Old Sycamore, and I think there's no risk that we trigger the Technic Ambush. This excavation site, this is irrelevant to us until we become Baron. Once we become Baron, we claim these little resources for a little bit of build points, which is our secondary currency, and we get a bonus for them. Anyway, let's visit the Old Sycamore. Big plant here. Whoops, I was just bringing up on the top left. You can sort of see it gives a little bit of background about these regions. So, waterlogged lowland, gloomy, soggy lowland. And actually, if you read them, it will, give you a little bit of forewarning about what to encounter. If it says, super dangerous place that everyone avoids, there's a chance there's something super dangerous there that you will also want to avoid. Let's enter the Old Sycamore. And we're gonna see when we saw Tartuccio, he referenced this mites and relics. That's the subplot of this region, which is basically our first big dungeon.
Greetings.
And we run into Keston Garris, who you might remember if you're familiar with the game or watched my first episode. He was with Jumandi's Eldori's personal guards when he implored us to rush through some fire. Yeah. So, he's limping, his clothing is stained with blood, but he's excited.
I have urgent news from Restov. The investigation that I have conducted at Lady Jamandi's orders have proved your innocence. Tartuccio was and still is the Pataxian spy. That dreadful night, it was him who had opened the gate and let the assassins in. It appears that he had planned to gain the barony and Eldori's support, only to later place these lands under the command of his true patron. King Iravetti is no stranger to intrigue, and likes to use others to do his dirty work. Anyway, Lady Jamandi sends her apologies.
So Tartuccio, she's not very effective. Like, he let the assassins in, but he claimed that Pitax had sent the assassins, and they were with us. But it turns out that Pitax did send the assassins. Well, maybe there's some sort of 4D chess going on here, but doesn't seem the best.
We almost had Tartuccio cornered when this damned mist fell. First we entirely lost our way, and then stumbled right into a bandit ambush. My people can barely stand, so I would be grateful if you would help us capture this Tartuccio. He must be somewhere nearby. Bring that scum to Oleg's trading post, dead or alive. The Sword Lords will remember this favor.
So, another quest, basically. We were going to track down Tartuccio anyway, but now that we've had our innocence proved, we're going to sort of bring him to Restovian justice. We want to know how he managed to fool you.
That sly bastard has caused us no little trouble, that's for sure. When he showed up in Restov and announced he was going to join the expedition, nobody suspected a thing. Yes, a gnome, yes, a sorcerer, but so what? Even after that terrible night, some of my people were willing to bet money on you being the spy.
Yes. Don't trust the gnome sorcerer. Maybe, although they did. So, yeah.
His overconfidence was his downfall. Tartuccio's henchmen, it seems, imagined they could safely meet with Pataxian spies in the town's seedy underbelly. But Restov is the ancestral home of the Eldori, and Lady Jamandi is respected not only by the aristocracy and the common folk, but also by those on the other side of the law.
I should just mention that gnomes have their own law in Pathfinder, which is pretty similar to the Dungeons and Dragons gnomic law. But Owlcat have a tradition, have a tendency to do like non-typical gnomes. So if you've played Wrath of the Righteous, Regil, the lawful evil Hell Knight gnome. It's about as far from the sort of flighty, playful gnome than that is the stereotype. And also Tartuccio, if you think about it, he's not your stereotypical gnome, but he's also not very effective as an antagonist, which makes sense for an early game one.
We received a message from the slums. A good friend, who wished to remain anonymous, suggested the Sword Lords take a closer look at a certain guest from Patax. Jamande immediately sent for me and ordered me to capture the spy, all very quietly, of course. He told us everything, and not only about Tartuccio. I doubt that Iravetti was pleased to hear of his agent's failure.
And what do these Pataxian spies hope to find?
Pataxian spies are much like magpies. They'll grab anything that catches their eye. Information, treasure, artifacts. This time, King Iravetti had a chance to seize the entire Stolen Lands region, and at the Eldori's expense. I'll give you some advice for the future. Be wary of the Pataxian king. He's truly a snake of a man.
So that's good advice for the future. I'm not going to go into that, but that's a significant part of the late game. And we can just ask Kessin Garrett a bit more about himself as well.
Used to be. It's only a name now, nothing more. The House Garess are a noble family in Brevoy. They own several mines in the Galushkin Mountains. My father Evan is cousin to Lord Howland Garess, but he's my father no longer.
So this relationship between the House Garess and mining, not the most relevant stuff, but links with dwarves.
In any case, I brought shame upon my name and was punished accordingly. The family disowned me. I fled to Restov and took up the life of a simple mercenary, until I received an assignment here in the Stolen Lands.
And we can just ask him why he was exiled.
Fair enough. For a Garess, the prosperity of the house and the honor of the name stands above all else. And I was betrothed to a widow from another noble house. This union was of great importance to the family. However, 3 months before the wedding, I met a commoner girl, gentle and pure, and we fell in love. I would have rather died than leave my Tanya, so I decided to break off the engagement with my noble bride. I could never have expected what would follow.
What did follow?
My father was furious. I'd set a pointless love affair above the interests of the house. He expelled me from the family and ordered to leave our lands under threat of death. And Tanya, her mother was seriously ill, and she stayed behind to care for her rather than follow me into exile. Thus, I was on my own, disgraced, without a name, and without love. Don't imagine that I ask for pity. Everyone gets what they deserve.
So, and that unlocks an alignment choice, basically, and it's a pretty typical tale. I think we've heard that one before, but we're going to pick the chaotic good one. Yeah.
What's done is done.
And we can ask more
Well then, ask away.
about House Garess, but we can pick that up another time because we're going to encounter Kessin Garrett quite a lot. So let's leave that for now. If you have a look at our character, at our alignment, you can see we've shifted from neutral good a little bit towards chaotic good, and I just want to keep an eye on that and see what happens. So if we check out the map, you can see this is Old Sycamore here. It's big. This is our first really big map outside of the prologue, I guess. And there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot to find, and there are certain enemies on this map that we don't want to fight, and yeah. But let's trigger the sort of introduction, which is going to come up here. Cowardly traitors, sons of a pike. So return the relic, basically. And Tartuccio was mentioning a relic. This is Chief Sootscale, chief of the kobolds. And this is Seneschal Vagic, who is the Seneschal of the mites. You notice they are bizarre looking things. They've got these enormous heads. They're fey creatures who originated in the first world, but a bit like gnomes, have become far more adapted to life in Galarian. And this is really funny. Go look for your relic. Go look your relic in your dungeon. Look under bed, under table. Silly kobold have no bed and no table. Search your eggs. So the mites kind of see themselves as more civilized. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is partly comic relief, but of course it's also not because of what's going to happen. Yeah, because they're going to fight. Again, this is Lindsay's chaotic nature. It's she's more excited than anything else. So we're going to say stop. This is the sort of lawful evil, lawful neutral option, just eradicate them. But or I guess chaotic evil or lawful evil option, because both might wish to just attack. Stop. Yes. And they this is their queen, with this wolf hat on. So it seems where Alice is immediately thrown into an arbitration between these two warring clans here, the mites and the kobolds. Anyway, kobold, and we know that Tartuccio is dressed up as a kobold, so he's not Chief Sootscale, but we want to know what's happened because we're trying to track him down. Yeah, so the kobolds and the mites lived here a long time in peace, but now the mites have stolen the relic. And how do you know it was stolen by the mites? Because mites steal things. But here, new shaman come. Shaman Tartuc knows who stole the relic, and he says it was the mites. And where is this shaman Tartuc now? He's in dungeon, and the mites collapsed our entrance. And so the kobold wrath mite. And what's the relic? It's a key. It's a key to enter the sacred hall. And Tartuc's not a real kobold. He's deceiving you. We're not stupid. He knows he's a real kobold. And finally, we'll ask if they really attacked the mites. And they say that it was for revenge. So it's clear that the kobolds have been deceived by Tartuccio into attacking the mites, thinking that the mites stole something. And we can ask the mites what happened. And they, this is a more literate, a more, what would you say? Better at speaking. Can't think of the right word. So magnificent warrior queen Badar. She defeated a scary wolf battle. Charmed hundreds of hearts. We understand. Legs tremble when he sees such beauty. Yes, indeed. There she is. My queen, why do you fight the kobolds? And, she's quite eloquent. That was the word I was looking for. The mites are more eloquent than the kobolds. And that they were in an alliance with the kobolds. And they had these two branches of the Old Sycamore, this ancient tree. And, kobolds have stolen their branch. Why do you need the relic? they give entrance to the Sacred Hall, basically. You know, 1 key for the kobolds, 1 for the mice, etc., etc. So it's clear that Tartuccio wanted to get into this Sacred Hall and has stolen the mite's relic. Why do the kobolds think the relic was stolen by mites? Because the kobold chief is silly, ugly, and old. Yeah. I mean, I think it's clear that they're fake creatures. They like jokes. The kobolds are more sort of serious here. You know, they don't like being made fun of. The mites are just sort of taking the piss. You know, do you know where this purple scaled shaman is now? Yeah, dungeon near our house. We see him once but not catch. Want to find the shaman? Look underground. Fair advice. Fair advice. Very well. No more questions. So we're going to say that they should make peace. And they say, no fucking way. Pardon my language. Finally, we're going to ask our companion's advice. And this gives us, like, alignment-related stuff. Amiria's like, let's just, you know, fight them. That's fun, isn't it? Valerie is of the sort of lawful persuasion. She says it's up to Alice as designated leader, but she warns about their dangerousness. But we can either side with one over the other, which means that we engage in their battle, or, and this requires neutral. We can't do this unless we have some sort of neutral alignment. We can strive to learn the truth. We can say we're not going to take part, and I really dislike in this part siding with one or the other. And without neutral, you're not able to take this neutral path. And I think this annoyed people enough that in Bag of Tricks, there's some alignment shifting, meaning you can take this option even if you're, say, lawful good. But this was one of the main reasons why I started as neutral, because I really don't like, you know, engaging in their war. It just doesn't seem right. And they're sweet. Yeah, so we're going to be visiting them and seeing about helping them out. She's got a nice scimitar. Yeah. But as it turns out, they are going to be fighting. And there's nothing we can do about that. Sootscale and Badar run off, and we're left to pick up the pieces. Now, first of all, there's lots of enemies in this map. We're going to fight our first ones, which are these frogs down here. So, giant frog. It's a level 2 animal. It's only got 15 HP. These shouldn't be of any issue. Oh, on this information, this is really good. At the bottom, they have text about them. You can, if you're really into reading about these creatures, this generally it's copied out of the Pathfinder rule books, but it's just quite nice to read about. They got teeth, razor sharp teeth. So they don't have anything particular. They do a fair amount of damage, but they got very low AC. So
this is my time to shine.
I'm gonna send a cat out front.
Their life ends here.
They're immune to daze. They might. I don't think they're immune to shaken. So we're going to shake them up.
Your time is over. You deserved it.
Strike.
Yeah, so you can see that little shaky aura around them shows that they're shaken. It's a great condition because when things are shaken, there's a particular feat called Shattered Defensives that means you can ignore a lot of their armor against shaken enemies. But we're going to have much better ways to get shaken later on than demoralizing. It's just a nice debuff because it reduces the chance that we're going to get hit. On the other hand, there's no need to have everybody shaking. So what we can do, what we might do, is we might put Melly here onto Flare.
Don't hold back.
So they make their fortitude save a lot, but flare is a second debuff which should reduce attack bonus by 1 on top of that, which means a much less chance of being hit. If we just pop up here, I'll just show this is what's going on. If we get close, you sort of see that they're really going at it. And they're just absolutely, like, it's a full-scale war. It's like there's mass combat. You know, they all end up dead.
The dangers don't frighten me.
But we're gonna scout out the bottom of the map here because there's some nice hidden items to pick up, if I remember rightly.
Anything else?
Yeah. So, Shield of Faith potions are always nice early on, as is Mage Armor. We can feed. And we'll do this right now. We can feed potions to our cat. Okay? So, might as well get Melly to do it. So we're going to take a potion of Mage Armor. We're going to take a Cure Light Wounds.
I am never wrong.
And we are going to feed a healing potion there by clicking that little up arrow, which allows you to sort of cast it on someone else. And we're going to feed the Mage Armor potion. And we can now see that the cat has got 1 hour of Mage Armor, and that's boosted their armor class by 4 to 24, which puts the cat on a level with Valerie. Very worth doing early on for this
I'll
map.
share my path.
The fragile little cat.
Requires your attention.
So this is again another Mage Armor potion. This is the sort of friendly camp. You can see in the log here, the battle going on. But we're going to chat to this lot. And he raises his bold blue head with dignity, and his neck is decorated with taglocks and a wolf fang pendant. To his right walks a kobold, also swelling with conceit. So this is the peace zone. This is the smart mites and the smart kobolds who don't want to fight. They're more interested in killing wolves. And so there's the fat wolf lord. Who kill him? Big reward. Ward. Kobolds, that's so stupid. So why aren't you fighting each other? Because war is actually bad. That's pretty wise there. And because there's this hairy wolf, dangerous hairy wolf around. Lindsay there agrees the same. Sometimes I wish the companions were fully voiced, even if the NPCs you encounter in the map aren't, because it would just be, I think it would help you get, when they interject like this, you just get more sense of who they are. Anyway, Lindsay's pretty wise. She doesn't like fighting. Amiri, on the other hand, does like fighting. This is a sort of running theme that Queen Badar is a great and beautiful Night Queen. Yeah, the kobolds don't get it. They're more into dragons. Who are you? Peaceful Might and Kobold. That's it. And what about wolves? We're not going to be picking the neutral evil. We like to kill option. Big wolf pack near the tree, and we maybe kill him easy, but war takes hunters away. Fine. We're going to agree to kill the wolf leader. We don't like wolves who prey on poor innocent kobolds and mites. And we're going to steal their collection of potatoes here, and collection of potions, collection of potatoes.
Uh-huh.
Now down here, we've got some more frogs. And I believe there's a big frog. So
Test of my abilities.
this is a greater giant frog. It's got higher strength. We're doing a bit more damage here. It's like one more hit, so they're +7 to hit, whereas we're at +5 here, so slightly more dangerous.
This will hurt.
I'm gonna try and get a flare
Away,
and
rascal.
a demoralize on
This is
one
where I
target,
step
so we can see.
Stay behind me.
but it might not if we kill too quickly. So flared. So now you can where am I looking? Dazzled there. So penalty on attack rolls, and that might have so all it just says is other -1 there. But killed before the other debuffs. Ugh. Yeah. So this is turn-based. I don't use turn-based just because it's so slow, and I talk a lot about this in my first video, part 1 of my introduction, why I don't. But turn-based is a very legitimate way to play. It's not my preferred way. I really don't like turn-based. But if you press T either by mistake or just normally, or if you click this button here, that will flip you into turn-based, and you can see that
Stand down.
it plays out far more like it might on the tabletop. You take a turn, you press space, you then pull out your next ability, you give it a go, you flare, and you see you failed both fortitude save and demoralize. So what I might do is I might just skip through here so we can... It allows this sort of granular control. We're just going to skip everyone's actions and let this frog attack both flared. So there we go. You can see -1 from flare and -2 from fear shaken. So their attack bonus reduced from 7 to +4, and they needed a 20 to hit. Anyway, that's about all the turn-based I'm going to be doing.
Serves you right.
But it's nice just to show it off. It's... Oh, did you hit my tiger?
You deserved it.
Jesus. What are they rolling? Crit? See, yeah. If you're rolling 2 20s in a row, you're going to be hitting.
Tear them apart!
That's about the worst roll I've ever had there. So, is the cat dead? No. Phew. Fortunately, we do have a stash of potions
Anything is possible.
to heal it up. We really need Melly to level up so that cat isn't getting quite so owned. Although a double crit like that will always, do some serious damage. This is a difficult mobility check. We're not going to attempt it. We just come to pick up this kobold here. It's got jade and necklaces and just minor valuables. I'm going to clear this bottom area, and then I'm probably going to pause the video before we clear the top. So next item of interest here is this dead individual. Now, this is our third scorched fragment of a necklace. We've got a crossbow. We've got a little story about hunting for antiquities in the Stolen Lands, but it's dangerous. So, and as this individual has, Kenneth Plamer has found out. We get an ancient Roslandic coin, and we get this Restovic Ranger's broken arrow, and this is not an artifact, not a collectible artifact, but like a story artifact. So once we get all of these, we cash them into this NPC, the storyteller, and he will tell us the story with a big fat chunk of XP as well. So we're going to be getting them, and I believe all these, if I remember rightly, all these Rangers items are, sorry, all these Restovic items are available here. And I'm just going to pause now. Just a slight break in the video there, because my phone rang with yeah, so what was I saying? We're going to collect all those artifacts. I believe they're all here. And if you hear the sounds of that telephone on the mic, then yeah, little bonus, bit of bonus content, telephone ringing. What we're going to do, the up here, this is the entrance into the underground, basically like the first level of the dungeon. Although, you know, the overworld, you know, is dungeon-like as well. You know, in the broader sense. These are tassel worms who come up a fair amount, even though there's a huge amount of text. It says like they're rare. Where is it? Maybe it's at the top. Tassel worms are quite rare, although we end up killing quite a few, and they, like dragons, you can see their little arms there. They're quite cool actually. It's a nice model, but like dragons, they have treasure, basically. So
We should move.
I don't believe they can be dazed because they're animals. So we're just gonna go with flare
Letting the ink dry.
and
The
double
world is full of wonder.
shaken.
I am your
You're
shield.
both
see whether we can
knowing our
just-
story.
They go down!
For some reason we've got AI on again. Let's just bulk. Turn that off. Cat, Amiri,
You should have run.
daze, shake,
Last wishes.
shake,
You offend me.
and
Let us strike as one.
converge. Shaken and shaken. Flared.
Strike.
Go for the other
Don't
one.
hold back.
Hit on the cat. So dazzled lasts for a minute, which whereas shaken is its duration with demoralize here depends on how successful you were, like how much you beat their the difficulty class for shaking. So it can be really short and it can be really long, but we've successfully done that, so we're just gonna try and kill this last one. There we go.
Your time is
And-
over.
Lindsay can plink away with her crossbow. She's not gonna hit, but
Me, Gorum!
Mary shouting out to Gorum. So, and what have they got? They've got gold, so we're gonna take that. So the last, the last part of
share
this
my path.
map I'm gonna do is just up here, or I guess maybe the second last, since I'll clear the way to that up there. So there's,
Have a look.
we see these traps here, one there, and there's one over here as well. Gonna get Lindsay to disarm them, but these traps are quite tricky.
Applause, please.
DC 18.
Applause, please.
And unfortunately, because it's raining, we get a penalty on perception checks. Fortunately, we obviously made those perception checks before it really started raining. And we got some nice high rolls. But basically, there's a trap up here as well. And these individuals who, for some reason, are sleeping out in the rain. Ugh, lightning. Sleeping out in the rain. Yeah. But we're going
I am
to
yours to command.
take the easy route here. Shield off.
I'm listening.
And this affects our movement. So you're gonna come over here. Come over here. Come over here.
Here.
And we are going to attempt a triple coup de grace. And now, you might be wondering why kill these individuals. They will always attack us. They're bandits hiding out here. They really don't like us. You know, there's no peaceful resolution here. There's not even any dialogue. So I feel quite secure in going for
My skills are
Adventures
obsolete.
call to
this coup de grace. Plus, it's quite fun in a rather brutal manner. Even the leopard can do coup de grace.
This will be quick.
But the timings were slightly off, and the leopard has
Don't hesitate.
has failed there. But so we're gonna take
Do
out
not
this one.
falter.
Going to
This will hurt.
serve
shake
me right.
and so we can get lots of
Away,
dazes
you rascal.
in here because they're human.
You deserved it.
There we
You
go.
should have run.
Hopefully we'll manage to daze those two. How's our timers looking? Leopard, you really let me down. Succeeded. Just so we can see, this is level 2 fighter. This guy's got pretty high strength. Can do quite a lot of damage. Says he's using a heavy crossbow, but he swaps to another weapon, I believe. And this is a fighter with rapid shot, so this is a ranged character who's apparently starting with a short sword. So, yeah. Turn off that and let it play out. Succeeded. We really... Ooh, is that a critical success? Yeah. Shame. What's their will saves? Will 1. Will 1. Well. We're gonna get hit by lightning if we're not careful. There we go, that's the dazes I was looking for. And... Ah! You've seen there, they've fallen on the ground. That's our first successful trip with a critical success, a natural 20. There, it looks like, which has sent them onto the ground. And that's game over, basically, because if they try and stand up, they will incur 3 attacks of opportunity, which will turn them into chunks. Not that they're not anyway, because we've dazed them and then hit them. And that negative armor class through being prone, so that's really really good for us anyway. So let's see what they've got. This here, leather armor +1. We can just give Lindsay a nice upgrade there. It's really neither here nor there, because it's not a... Hopefully she's never going to be getting hit, getting swung at in the first place. We'll take some alcohol. We'll take a mega crossbow, chocolate, alcohol. This is alchemist stuff. Scroll of snowball, healing potions, bows, crossbows, and I believe these are braces of armor +1. Yep. So actually, yeah, what's a sorceress without braces of armor? So we're quite heavy here. We're getting up there, so I'm gonna try not to use too much. And we'll take that as well. And because of our perception check penalty, we haven't spotted this trap. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video there, and see you in the next one.